Morning! Welcome back to Grit and Gumption. Charlotte and I were sitting here doing our morning chit chat. We always sit around chit chat about everything. We were thinking about, the weather. It's getting colder. It's chilly this morning. We thought, what are things we need to get done before it gets cold and we don't want to be out there doing it? So we thought, hey, we'll just make a list up and we'll just talk about that. What do you have to do?
Oh my goodness. I have a whole list.
I have a huge list too.
Yep, of all kinds of stuff that we do most of the time. But I was just thinking about a couple things that I didn't put on my list. And one of them is tree trimming. If you have any trees that need trimmed, the best time to do that is in the fall. I always like to try to trim them in the beginning, but usually by the end of the year, they're out of control. So the best time to trim your trees, I have heard, is in the fall. So that's when I do mine.
Yeah, get them away from like your walkways. Like if you had a storm in the winter, or had storm or ice storm or snowstorm or whatever, depends on where you are. Yeah, make sure your walkways, any branches that might be hanging low or that are dead are gone, or trees that are dead even, gone. Stuff around the garage and your driveway, close to the roof of your chimney, anything like that, yeah.
Well, especially your gutters, that's just a given.
Yeah.
You have to do that, the dreaded gutter job.
Yeah, no kidding. And yeah, another thing with the gutters is to make sure they're attached well to the house. Let me tell you, I've got stories. Oh my goodness. We were about ready to buy a home and it was a Sunday morning and I was in bed sleeping late. And the next thing I know, water comes rushing through the ceiling because the guttering came separated from the house and the flashing, and the water went between the flashing and the roof, came down the wall and flooded out all through the ceiling and wall. I was like, oh my gosh, I had a bunch of other drywall I had to do. I was so distraught. So yeah, check your flashing, check your guttering, make sure everything's attached well, make sure those gutters are cleaned out, and you're ready for ice.
What a way to start the day, huh?
Yeah, I was like yelling for Kane and like grabbing the biggest vase I could find to shove under it real fast. It was a nightmare. I was about in tears.
That's a 2 cup of coffee morning.
I'd say. I would say so. Yeah, that was a bad one. Oh, we made a list here. Okay. Cleaning your ceiling fans and reversing them the direction they go to help push that hot air back down. So you just don't.
I don't like that job either, because you usually have to get a step stool or a ladder and bring it in, and
I don't like getting up high at all, but I do it.
Yeah.
And then protect your air conditioners. Get those covered if that's what you need to do, and clean them, whatever.
Take them out of the window if you have an air unit.
Whatever, and that goes to the next one, which is insulation of your windows and doors. Making sure that they're covered, that when they're closed, there's no gaps. If there is, get some of those insulation strips and stick them in there. Same thing with your doors. It makes a huge difference. Even if you can get those little, what are they called? They're like a snake that you put the bottom of the door to help keep the draft from coming in. Yeah, big helps. And plastic, if you have older windows or you got single pane windows, even put plastic up if you have to. We've had to do that in the old house we had one time. We had a huge front window.
Also lined curtains, if you can get some lined curtains, and really Ollie's has some really pretty curtains for really cheap. So it's a good place to go for curtains and they're usually a lined heavy curtain, and that does help a lot.
It does. It really does. That's true. Yeah, get those summer ones put away and get something thicker on there, heavier. Makes a big difference in the bill. That's for sure.
Yes.
The heating bill. Put blankets and pipe insulation on your pipes for your water heater. They say you should really flush them out and get rid of the sediment first, and then go ahead and put your blankets on them and your pipe insulators. It does make a big difference on the savings every month on heating those burgers up. That especially in the winter, your water heater gets some use, let me tell you. Heat lamps, heat lamp bulbs, and heat lamp fixtures for if you got to stick one under your cabinet or in an area or somewhere, just make sure you got them ready. You know where they're at. You have bulbs that you can use. Might have to get some new ones. So check and make sure the ones you have work. Sump pumps, make sure they are working good. So when stuff goes down, you're ready.
Prepare.
Yep. Those humidifiers, the air humidifiers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, clean those out really well. And then
I
Get
would
some
even,
filters.
yeah, I was going to suggest buying a few filters up front
Yeah.
because the cost is a little more there up front, but
For
then
sure.
also they'll run out every year or they just quit carrying them, and then you'll at least have them and it makes it a little more convenient.
That's what I do. I try to have like 2 or 3 on hand.
Yeah.
Just ahead of the game. Try to get ahead of the game. Here's a good one. Your handrails. Your handrails for all your porches or your walking areas. Any stairs you have on your property. If there's a hill you go up and you have a handrail there, make sure everything's attached well. So when the ice hits or the snow and it starts packing down on the stairs, you're good. Nobody's going to fall. Also, your ice melt. Get a bucket with that ready to go, or pull it out if you got some in storage and get it ready to go. Same with your shovels. Get those at the ready, but put all your other tools away that you don't need since gardening's pretty much over. Some people winter garden, but if you don't, get your stuff put away, get your lawnmowers put away, all your implements. If you got anything with batteries, they say you should remove your batteries and put them in a warm area. It helps them last longer. So, you could do that. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, porch lights. Make sure your porch lights are working well. You have bulbs, they're in them that are working. Your motion sensors, yeah.
Excuse me.
Motion sensor lights, make sure they're working. And another good thing is, go ahead and put your Christmas lights up. You don't have to turn them on yet, but while it's not freezing out, go ahead and get them up. That way when it's time, you can just flip the switch and they're good to go.
Exactly.
I can't stand putting them up when it's freezing.
I know, your fingers get cold. It's just no fun.
I know. And then if it's even like snowy or icy or anything like that, you're taking a risk of falling. So
that's true. And we are 50, or she is anyway, in her 50s.
I'm 20 something. Doesn't it show? Oh, cover all your grills. Get your grill covers out or whatever you got outside like that.
Lawn furniture covers.
Yep, fountains. Your fountains, get them covered, emptied, and cleaned up, and ready to go for next
I
year.
have a fountain. Yep, that's one of my biggest things because it's my favorite thing. So, and it takes a little bit of preparation, but not much. You just drain it out, and I saran wrap mine. Really, actually, several times I use it. Actually, it's packing plastic, but I cover it pretty good. So if you have a fountain, it would be about time.
Yeah. And then empty your spigots and
hoses. Take your hoses in.
Put your hoses in, and then I would get an insulator and put it on your spigots. I mean, might as well. I double duty mine. I put insulator on it, and then I wrap it first with like a hand towel or whatever, and then I put. I'm so bad. I put a gallon baggie over that, and then I squish it all down, and I put like a rubber band on it really, really good to keep it on there really good, and then I put that insulator over it and attach it. That way, hey, we're not going to have any problems. I mean, who wants
no
a
kill
spigot?
like overkill?
That's right. I mean, nobody wants split pipes. I mean,
that's right.
No. Let's see.
I want to throw this in here today because it would be a good idea to get yourself a couple gallons, depending on the size of your home, but a couple gallons of antifreeze. We might lose power this winter, and quite possibly for more than one day. And if that does happen for an extended period of time, you want to be prepared because you may have to turn your water off and put the antifreeze in your pipes, in your toilets, so on, so that it doesn't freeze. Because my home has pipes in the ceiling, and if they would burst, it would take my whole ceiling down. It would be a mess, like was in Texas this year. So we don't want that. So think ahead that if we do lose power for a few days, or if we would have to leave our homes, or whatever happens.
Especially if you have to leave your home, you're going to want to make sure it's taken care of.
Power grid failure, whatever, you are prepared in that way, and you've thought ahead, so you don't have to trek out to the store and get that at the last minute when everyone else is also trying to get it. So just something to think about.
Yeah. Also, generators and solar, chargers and your inverters, anything like that you get power from, or to use when the power goes out. You could think about getting those now. Should have had them already, but might want to think about that. Flashlights, your oil lamps, solar lights. You could set those outside solar lights out during the day and bring them in at night if you need to. And that's what we've always done. We just have a little, planter outside. We always stick them in. They get sun during the day. If the power goes out at night, you can grab one of those little boogers and bring it in, and you're good to go. And you get them for $1 at the dollar store. So, I mean, you get 5 of them and you're good. Let's see. Also, if the power goes out, you need some water. You need non-perishable food, first aid, have that stuff ready, and maybe wood for the fireplace if you never use a fireplace, or maybe one of those little buddy heaters, something like that you can actually get some heat from in a room, and shut off the areas that you're not going to be using that doesn't have water in them, water pipes. Then, I'll let you do some.
Oh gosh, well, we have smoke detectors. That's a good one.
Yeah, and carbon monoxide detectors.
Those are good ones. So batteries, you need to make sure you check all your smoke detectors and your batteries for those kinds of things. Also, just double check your water heater and make sure that everything there around your water heater is clear and well ventilated. Just make sure that things are in good shape.
Yeah, as far as your detectors go, if you don't have them, you need to get them. They're not very much money, and I mean, you just need to have them. I would make sure you got them, like within the next week or two. Make sure you have them. You're ahead of the game. Should have had them already, though. That's pretty dangerous to go without that. Your furnace
filters.
Yep, furnace filters. Make sure the furnace is running. Make sure it starts okay. There's no problem with that, because when that cold hits, everybody's going to be calling them theirs isn't working, and then you got to be backlogged waiting on some guy to show up for about 4 days, and that's not cool while you're freezing. So make sure you have gas in your gas tanks, your propane. If you haven't filled that, you might want to be thinking about it. Get it going, get things ready.
Most of these jobs my husband tends to do, but I have to make the list every time. You would think that eventually, it would click, but I have to make the list every time.
Yeah, I know. I do all mine too. Fireplace. You check for cracks. Check for your pipes. Make sure everything's attached well and nothing's split anywhere. Check your chimney cap. Make sure there's no debris there. Make sure there's no bird nests or anything in there. Take all that stuff apart and clean your pipes from creosote. Make sure it's cleaned out.
Yes, you need to clean your chimneys. And some people even have their ducts sucked out.
Yeah.
So, feel free to call Provac if you need your ducts sucked out. They've done mine before. They've done an excellent job. So if you have allergies, things of that nature, it's a really good idea to have them cleaned every now and then. And it's not that expensive. So just something to think about, as well as your chimney flue.
Yeah. Entryways. Get a good rug down for people coming in and out with wet feet. Make sure there's something there they can put their coats on, hats and gloves and mittens and all that good stuff, and your floors won't get dirty and mucked up.
Who knew there was this much stuff to do before winter, huh?
Lots of stuff.
Indiana. We live in Indiana, so
Yeah. Check your roofs. Make sure there's no debris up there, especially on the flat roofs. That's a lot of weight and a lot of problem if you got a flat roof and it's got a bunch of stuff on it up there. All that should be cleared off before winter even hits. We went through the weather stripping for the doors, gutters cleared. Got that done. Ice melt ready at the door too for your sidewalks and stuff. And make sure if you don't have adequate insulation that you get some. You get it taken care of.
And also, if you have Christmas boxes that need to come down from the attic or that need to come down from higher shelves, or whether you put them away and it's just kind of a pain to get to them, maybe you should think about getting them out a little bit earlier this year and trying, to be pre-prepared for Christmas. It sneaks up on you, and
Boy, does it.
Really not sure what kind of year we'll have this year. So, I don't know, better safe than sorry.
I know, some willy worms said it was supposed to be bad, and then you got the persimmon seeds, and they say we're going to have a lot of snow. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to get, but better safe than sorry. Be ready. Well, I've got a bunch of stuff extra to do. I've got animals, and I've got bees, so I've got to insulate the top of our boxes and get some bee food in there, and then insulate the whole unit. Get that ready to go. We always put a bale of straw around them. The chicken house, we got to clean that out. Clean all the waters and feeders so they are really well cleaned and sanitized.
I cover my air conditioners.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might not, but I do. I cover them with air conditioner covers for the winter, just helps prolong their lives,
Yeah, I clean the outside of the windows really well before winter hits.
That's a job.
Yeah, I know, but I like to see outside really well, so I like to get the big sliding glass door and all that clean. So, what else? Oh, we're going to put rock in our chicken run this year because it's been muddy in there. The spring was really bad, and I don't want to go through that again. So we're going to try to get some rock in there before winter comes. Our goat houses, we have to repair the boys'. I don't know what they did, but they must have had a pretty good party because they knocked off a whole wall. So we have to fix that. And then they annihilated the fence on one end with their horns. So we got to fix that. So we have some fence work to do, which I dread the fence work, but I'll get it done. I don't want to, but I will. And then for our duck, and we have like a hoop house kind of thing that the duck lives in, so we've got to fill it with some straw and get a couple extra tarps over there just to make sure she's good and protected from the weather. I wanted to paint the porch before the weather got bad, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that done. But I'd like to.
I think you're out of warm enough weather for the paint to
It says
settle, but
45 degrees and higher, so I don't know. I might have a good day left. Maybe, we'll see. I mean, I remember one time we were riding motorcycles in December, so who knows?
I know, and then I remember another time where it snowed at the Indianapolis 500 in May. So
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get here in Indiana, that's for sure.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. We have hay we got to transfer from a barn we keep it in to the house so that when the weather gets bad, it's at the house and we don't have to travel to get any. But we have a place we keep it, so we just go and get what we need about every 2 weeks. But we're going to have to get what we need for about 3 months and put it up so it's there. Have to get that done and make sure we have straw too. Also, the car. I need to get a tub and put it in the back of the car and just put emergency items in it just in case. You never know in the winter. You never know if you got to stay someplace overnight or a couple nights. You never know if you're going to need some food for that. You know, an emergency kit for if somebody has an accident and you need to help them. Stuff like that. I'm going to cover my garden this year. I started some stuff out there. So I'm going to have some kale growing and some root vegetables going. So I am going to cover that. So I've got to do that yet. And then also I'm behind on my garlic. I've got to get it done. Usually my husband helps me do that, but he's got a cold and I don't want to have him outside in the weather. So I'll probably do that myself. But I ended up getting a couple different kinds of garlic this year. I'm going to get those out there. That'll be fun. But anyway, so Charlotte is busy. She's always off doing something. Anyway, she's like my mother and can't sit for very long. But anyway, we just thought maybe this would give you an idea of some of the things you need to do if you're a new homeowner or you kind of have a tendency to just forget about things. It's a nice little reminder of all the things that you have to do in the next, 3 weeks? God knows there's enough to do. So anyway, good luck to you and yours through this winter, and hope you have a safe winter. And I'm going to work on the Christmas lights, like I said, because I do not want to be out there when it's cold. My fingers cannot take the cold. Charlotte's can't either. She gets all white fingers. So anyway, have a good day and take care.